Good evening, fans, and welcome to another exciting City TV sports presentation. We are here at Lawndale High, the Cardinals' nest, in this Pioneer League matchup as the Lawndale Cardinals host the visiting Apaches of Centennial High School. I'm Rufus Washington, joined by Rayshawn Haylock. Let me just take a quick moment to share with you the sad news that our broadcast partner, Lou Stowers, whom all of you know very well, lost his wife this week after a valiant battle against cancer. So our prayers go out to Lou and his family in this moment. Now, for tonight's matchup, Rashawn, you had a chance to talk with the Apache coach. What are the thoughts on that side of the field?
Yeah, it's a very peculiar situation for Centennial tonight. You know, coming into this game earlier in the week, they thought they were playing for something. They thought they were playing for something bigger, a bigger prize with a playoff berth potentially on the line. But they learned earlier this week that their win against El Segundo, they were going to have to forfeit. So that dropped them from 2-2 in league, playing for that third and final playoff spot, to now 1-3, and they're playing out the season here against Lawndale here tonight.
Well, and they're playing against the Lawndale Cardinal team. This is senior night, and you saw some of the festivities behind us. Coach Matthias has said that their goal is to have the guys play hard, get a league win, and for the seniors to go out with a bang. So it promises to be an exciting matchup here tonight on City TV in this Pioneer League game between the Centennial Apaches and our own Lawndale Cardinals. We'll have kickoff in just a moment. All right, fans, welcome again to Lawndale High School for tonight's Pioneer League matchup here between the visiting Apaches of Compton Centennial versus our own Lawndale Cardinals. And Lawndale won the toss, and they've elected to receive. Ordinarily, Rayshawn, team that wins the toss will come out here and elect to defer, but hey, they want the ball right away. They want to get this party started.
Absolutely. They're pretty much playing out the season here tonight, both of these teams. But talking to Coach Mathieson before the game, Rufus, as you mentioned, he wants to end the season on a bang. And here we go. Looks like this one, they fielded it. Doesn't go out of bounds. Actually stepped out of bounds while trying to field this one. Wow. That was Manigo, Austin Manigo.
Okay, and the last time we were here, Manigo had a big game for them. So as we get underway, let's talk for a moment and as you see Coach Mathieson there in your picture, as Rashawn said, his thing tonight is for the seniors to have some fun, for the guys to play hard, and to get a league win is their goal for the night. And of course, they come into tonight's contest 0-4 in league play, but 3-6 overall, which by most standards, considering from where they started a year ago, would have to be considered success.
Yeah, absolutely. He said it hasn't been a great season, but it hasn't been bad either, as Watkins gets the carry here to start the game, picks up a couple. But, you know, all in all, he's pretty pleased with what's happened so far this season. Always tough to take over a program because you have, as you take a look at Watkins getting the carry, you have guys that are so used to doing things a certain way. Right. So now once, you know, these seniors get out of here and he can start to have more and more of, you know, his players and more guys used to doing things his way, and hopefully you'll see a turnaround here with this program.
One of the challenges that we had, and we'll just tell you right up front, fans, is that Compton Centennial doesn't have a posted roster on Max Prep, so we're working without the benefit of that. Here comes Chapman to our side, finally driven out of bounds. Maybe a short gain on the play. The defense of the Apaches strung him out pretty good, never got a chance to go north and south, and it's going to be a third and long ball. Looks like it's spotted at about the 16-yard line. They need to get out to about the 25.
Yeah, he was running east and west there, never got a chance to turn it upfield, and he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage there. You mentioned in the pregame, Centennial thought they were playing for something tonight. Had a playoff berth on the line coming into this game, but they found out earlier this week that they play with an ineligible player against, as there goes Chapman on the keeper. Scrambling, gets shy of the first down marker, though. However, the Centennial team, they thought they were playing for something, but they found out earlier this week that their big win, and was against El Segundo, they had to forfeit. So now it drops them to 1-3 and pretty much no position to get a playoff berth. As you take a look at Chapman, and he's been so good on the run so far this season. Saw what he was able to do when we were here last week, and even a couple of weeks prior to that when they played North Torrance here as well, how he's been able to do things with his feet.
Oh, absolutely. He's the kind of kid, man. He's a senior. You wish he had, as we've watched his progress during the year, you wish he had one more. That ball fumble, Ryan Alexander is down there. Does he come up with it? Yes, he does. So, number 15, Ryan Alexander for the Lawndale Cardinals. And Ryan has improved week by week by week, Rashawn. And he comes up with the big play on the fumble on the kickoff.
Look what he does right here. He sees the ball. He pushes the Centennial player off the way. He said, that's my ball. No one stopped me from getting that. He jumped right on it. And as you mentioned, he's been steadily improving. And there you see him here with the big fumble recovery on the special teams.
So it's a 1st and 10 from the Centennial 35 for the Lawndale Cardinal. First quarter action, fans, if you're just joining us. Nice carry that time by, again, Michael Watkins. Michael, of course, when the season started, as you know, Rashawn, even though he had been the feature back last year, had kind of not inherited. That position wasn't given to him at the start of the season. He had to go out and earn it.
Yeah, he definitely did. And also the fact that, they've been banged up a little bit in the backfield as well. And some of those carries just kind of fell to him. But he definitely earned it. Picked up a few more carries, though, however, with the injuries.
So it's a 2nd down, about 4. Once again with the carry, met right at the line of scrimmage. Let's see, I don't think, trying to see who that was.
That was Watkins. His helmet comes off, so he's going to have to come out for a play. That's that new rule. You see it in college football every Saturday as he tries to get forward and actually end up losing a yard there. But if your helmet comes off, you have to come out for a play.
So the running back that comes on to replace him is number 10, Christian Coleman. Once again, fans, this is senior night for these Lawndale Cardinals, and we'll try to get a mention of as many of them as we possibly can just by looking at our roster here as we go along this evening. Young men whom, for them, this is the last hurrah.
Try to run the option there. Chapman tries to stretch it out, but nowhere to go.
Actually looks like may have lost a half a yard on the play. It's going to bring up a fourth and about 5. Scoreboard says 6, so I'll go with the 6 that they say. But in this situation, you can almost rest assured they're going to go for it on the 4th and 6 here. Come up in a staggered I formation. Watkins a drop back, the back stay back to block. There's the pass put up, reception is made after it was tipped by the Apache defender, Rashawn. Number 1, Dion Evans. And I'm looking over at his dad, Mr. Evans, and he's been waiting all season for moments like that. His son, the basketball player, talked to Coach Brownlee last week as we see Chapman drop back on the play. Lets it go, and it was tipped, as I said, by number 13 of the Apaches, but somehow or another, Dion Evans stayed focused, made the reception, and it's a 1st down for the Cardinals. Ball just inside the 20-yard line.
Here goes Watkins, nice little stutter step there.
Bounces to the outside and picks up a 1st down. So a very good opening drive for the Lawndale Cardinal. Let's remember, though, this drive set up by the turnover by Centennial on the punt return where they fumbled the punt return. Ryan Alexander recovered it. That's kept the drive alive, and right now they are down inside the 10 at about the 8-yard line, knocking on the door with a 1st and goal. And now we've got a flag on the play.
It's going to be an offsides against Centennial. So 5-yard penalty.
And if you've got the Centennial lineup, we can just be reminded of who the young man was, although I'm sure he doesn't want us to be reminded of it, that fumbled the ball for Centennial that set up this scoring opportunity for the Cardinals.
And I believe that was Rodney Smith back on the special teams for Centennial that wasn't able to get to that ball there. There's some movement. Looks like that's going to be against Lawndale. Let's see what they say, though, and it is going to be a false start. So the 5 yards they pick up, they give it right back.
So drive after looking pretty good on the first couple of plays. Cardinals starting to stall just a bit.
Centennial offense yet to touch the field.
And we've got 7:33 left here in the first quarter. Just getting underway, fans. This was a pretty even matchup, I would think, Rashawn, for Lawndale. And they do have that opportunity as they keep it on the ground. But there have been a lot of plays, fans, and this was still a 1st down play. They've run about 3 plays, and because of the penalties, we're just moving to 2nd down, and it's going to be 2nd and goal from about the 6-yard line.
You see, that's Johnson. Good to see him back in the lineup after having to leave the game on the opening kickoff last week. Had a foot injury. Now back in there as they spread it out 4 wide. Little draw.
Michael Watkins on the inside. And, boy, he's going to be down awfully close to that goal line. Indication, though, it's that it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
You see the little draw play here. And Watkins does a nice job making the first guy miss. He gets through and is able to spin out of 1 tackle. His momentum gets him down to the goal line. So they're going to go for it here. It's the last night of the regular season, Rufus. You got nothing to lose here. They're going to go for it. Here's Chapman on the keeper.
Well, it's a 3rd down play. So they score on 3rd down on the 1-yard run, and that was Chapman on the carry.
That was Chapman, quarterback keeper. He just got right behind those big boys and let them push the pile.
So here in the first quarter, the Cardinals of Lawndale. Got to give Ryan Alexander a lot of credit on that, though, Rashawn.
Absolutely. And without his big fumble recovery, it's football belongs to Centennial. Extra point is up, but no good.
So 6:15 left in the first in a celebratory senior night here at Lawndale High. The senior himself, Anthony Chapman, the quarterback, gets the party started scoring-wise with a 1-yard plunge. Extra point no good, so that makes our score 6-0 favor of the Cardinals, who will be kicking off for the 2nd time tonight. Or actually, I'm sorry, they'll be receiving. They'll be kicking off. My bad. They received even though they won the toss to start the game.
And take a look at Chapman. Well-deserved rest there. Nice job by him leading that drive down the field. And back to receive it once again is Marquise Lewis. He was the guy that was back there on the punt return. They go with a little squib kick, And no choice but to just fall on it there if you're Jailer Abram.
And he falls on it at the 26-yard line. So, for the first time tonight, the offense of the Apaches, they're clad in the white tops, in case you're wondering. And you're thinking, well, the home team has on the white. No, tonight, the home team, Lawndale Cardinals, they're dressed out in their all-red uniforms. And the Apaches of Compton Centennial come in with the red pants, white top.
So there you go. First play of the game is a quick little out from the quarterback, Jeremy Gaskins, to Abram.
It's good for a very short gain on the play.
Picks up a couple, picks up about 4 there. Gaskins very mobile. You got to look out for him on the run. As they spread it out, it looks like it's maybe a false start. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That call made by the side judge. Let's see if we can get you the officials crew for tonight's contest. The referee, he said pronounce it like Corvette, Fred Gravette. The head linesman, James Moody. Line judge, who helped me with these names, Tim Plow. Back judge, Chris Charles, and the umpire, John Arias. Inside handoff this time. Good recovery by the Lawndale defense. Big number 55 got in there for the Cardinals. That was Joseph Casalino.
Four-yard gain there for the tailback, Shaquan Jackson.
Gained back some of what they lost on the penalty. It's still a 3rd and 8. Their quarterback drops back to pass. Looks over here. Ryan Alexander with an interception now. Breaks loose from the tackle, still on his feet. Ryan Alexander Rashawn.
What a game he's having, huh?
In the first quarter. In the first 7 minutes.
You're looking for playmakers. You're looking for difference makers. So far, you got one. And Ryan Alexander. You take a look here, he saw the ball, he stepped right up in front of the play and picked it off, even broke a tackle there as he got some more yards. So turnover battle being won here by Lawndale to start this game. 1 interception and 1 fumble recovery, and they both belong to number 15 in red, Ryan Alexander. They go with a little draw once again. Watkins tries to get it to the outside, and ball squirts out.
Ball's out of bounds though, so play's dead. They'll spot it where it was fumbled forward.
It'll be a first down. Everything going their way tonight, huh?
Yeah. See on the replay here as Watkins goes down, ball comes out of his hand. And it is a bit, there's no rain in the air, but there's moisture in the air, Rashawn.
Very, very moist out here tonight, partner.
So, it is 4:46 left in the first. 1st and 10 for the Lawndale Cardinals, courtesy of the interception by Ryan Alexander out at the Centennial 40-yard line. Chapman drops back to pass, has some pursuit, decides he can beat it, then decides to just throw it out of bounds. But we've got a couple of flags on the field. One away from the action in the middle of the field, Rashawn, and then another by the referee over here in the area of the quarterback. So we've got 2 flags on the play. Let's see what the result of this is.
They're going to have to sort this out.
An eligible man downfield. They're going to mark that off against the Cardinal. So it appears to be a 5-yard penalty. They're going to spot the ball at the 30-yard line, which is going to be a 1st and 15. Thank you, sir.
So they go out of the pistol now. You're starting to see this formation a little bit more throughout high school and college football. Here's Watkins. Picks up a couple.
Gets a little bit of it back. Right now, excellent field position for the Cardinals. Now we've got a timeout being taken. Our first timeout of the night being taken by the Lawndale Cardinal, as we're going to keep track of these timeouts, well, because that can be an adventure into itself.
It definitely can be. First charge timeout to Lawndale. Centennial's yet to take a timeout. Watkins, 7 carries, 35 yards tonight. We're still in the first quarter. 4:23 left here, first quarter. Regular season finale, senior night here at the Cardinals' Nest. Between
last week
Lawndale,
it was homecoming.
I know, we're here for all the big events, right? As you mentioned, I was thinking that earlier.
And of course, there's other action in the area by our local teams. We know that
North and Torrance battling it out for the league championship in this league here tonight. That's a big one.
That's a huge game.
How about the contrasting styles? We've seen both of these teams earlier this year. You got the wide open Air George attack of North Torrance.
Right.
And then you got the old school double wing T of Rock Hollis and Company at Torrance.
And that one should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Across town, we've got the Hawthorne Cougars hosting. If I'm not mistaken, the Hawthorne Cougars are hosting Santa Monica. I know they're playing Santa Monica. Some question as to whether or not the game is at Hawthorne or in Santa Monica.
And Lusinger hosting West tonight. West Torrance.
It's been a tough season, Rashawn, as we all know, for all of our local teams.
Certainly.
Boy, of the three, this team that we're watching tonight clearly had the better season of everybody. Well, Chapman hit just as he let it go and intended for Deion Evans, thrown just a little bit long.
So 4th down after going for the home run there. Had Chapman in the flat. This is 4-down territory. Or pardon me, Chapman had Watkins in the flat. Elected not to go for him. Looked downfield going for the heavy hitter in Evans. And Evans is a guy they've tried so hard to get the ball to. You mentioned the basketball guy. Definitely has the size and the measurables for a wide receiver, but very new, very green, very new to the game of football.
4th and long. They're looking to go for it. Chapman holds it now. He lays it up, and his receiver has a chance, but it's knocked down by the defenders in the end zone from the Centennial Apaches. A good heave by Chapman. Had a receiver in the vicinity, but he was double covered, and the Apaches survive their second turnover.
Yeah, a little bit too much air underneath that one. No way that they were going to be able. The receiver was going to be able to get to that one without some resistance from the secondary of Centennial, as you see there. Nice job there that time by Abram, and also Harold Johnson in the secondary getting there as well. So now let's see what this Lawndale defense can do.
So this forfeit decision must have been made after the Daily Breeze went to press, because the Daily Breeze reception made their nice reception made by the Apaches as they moved the ball into Lawndale territory for the first time tonight at the Lawndale 45-yard line. See on the replay there, the Lawndale defender there, but not until after the reception and the first down had been made.
Pick up a 30 on that play there. From Gaskins to Johnson.
Nice little running play. This drive right now at the 45-yard line. That play takes them down. They're going to give them about 7 yards on the carry to make it a 2nd down and 3 as the ball is inside the 40 at about the 37, 38-yard line.
Six nothing our score. First quarter. Under 2.5 to play. Now they switch it up. Full house backfield.
And turning the corner for them, that was Ronald Reed. Ronald Reed picks up the 1st down as indicated by the official. We have a few challenges in terms of the field markings that it takes us a moment to sort it all out. We kind of have to look across the field at the pylons over there and then make a guess. Well, great pursuit to the ball by the Lawndale Cardinal. That was, don't have it on the program, number 45 and number 10 there, Christian Coleman was the other defender in on that play, as you'll see here on the replay, Rashawn.
Yeah. I think they may have found something here. So far, this first couple of times we've seen him in this full house backfield, that offensive line has just gotten to the defensive line for Lawndale. They try it here. Looks like the ball's out. That ball's out, Rufus. That ball belongs to Lawndale.
That's a 3rd turnover. We can't see from here. Well, now we can see number 52 came up with it. That was Pelzer. We called his name a lot last week. Number 52, Christian Pelzer, comes up with the fumble. So that's 3 turnovers here in the first quarter. Rashawn, why don't you call a replay action?
They never got it cleanly. They tried to go with the run there. Looked like that was the tailback Reed, who have been so successful on this drive so far. They tried to go back to him. He never handled the handoff cleanly from Gaskins, and the ball hit the turf. 3 turnovers in this first quarter, Rufus, for Centennial, as Chris Murray checks in at quarterback.
Okay, so as Rashawn points out, we got a quarterback change here for the moment. Of course, this is something we saw a little bit last week with the alternating quarterbacks. So the backup quarterback still in. This time they split the receivers out. One back in the backfield probably for blocking, and that's what it is. They're going to put it in the air. Wow. And that one falls incomplete. Intended actually for Chapman. No, Austin Manigo, I'm sorry. Chapman's number 8. That was number 9, as you see him right there on your screen, Austin Manigo.
And you see Murray try to air this one out. And you look at the deep ball here, and if you're Manigo, you kind of want to turn that route in some so that you're not fighting against the sideline.
Well, it's that, and that one hung up in the air a long time. But like you say, it's the air a bit heavy tonight, and that could have well affected the throw. But it was in the air quite a long time before it came up. Short dump-off pass to Michael Watkins. Watkins going to be out close to the 1st down. I think he's going to be short, and this might force Coach Matheson into a punting situation, Rashawn, because it's going to be a 4th and about 1.
4th and 1. I don't think they're going to punt, Rufus.
Well, they're deep in their own territory.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're at their own
30.
About 30-yard line. They're going to go
Let's see
big
if they
set,
try to
double tight, and they're going to go for the quarterback keeper here. Chapman still going, plowing backwards, and let's see where they spot him.
Well, it looks like it's more than enough for the 1st down. And that's one of those calls, boy, if you make it, yeah, you're having some fun. If you don't make it, it kind of sucks the fun right out of you.
It absolutely does. And not only that, you give Centennial some life in their
you gave them a lot of life, you know, at your 30-yard line. But be that as it may, you see on the replay, they pick up the 1st down as the first quarter about to expire, and it probably will before they get this play off. 7 seconds and counting. Well, they get it off. Started the first. Maybe they wanted to play in this direction. And you hear the siren to indicate that that's the end of the first quarter. The first quarter, Rashawn, dominated by 3 Centennial turnovers, 2 fumbles, and an interception. Ryan Alexander recovered 2 of those turnovers. Pelzer, the other fumble. And for all of that, Lawndale maybe should have more, but I'm sure they're happy as the band plays on with a 6-0 lead.
And they end up scoring once off of one of those turnovers, and now they're on the ensuing drive, post-turnover number 3 as we get ready to start the second quarter here. And Rufus, these are 2 coaching staffs that know each other pretty well. Coach Mathieson, as we know, came over from West Adams Prep, where he was a football coach over there and also the athletic director his last year there. Well, guess who was the head football coach at West Adams when he was over there? Russell Shaw, the head coach over at Centennial across the field. So these staffs know each other very well, very fond of one another as they go back. They were starting to build something at that West Adams program. A team actually beat Crenshaw last season and made some noise in the Coliseum League to finish second. You know that league is dominated by Dorsey and Crenshaw, but to even do that says something.
Right.
Obviously, there's some changes up top, and you know everybody was pretty much an exodus. And here they are now facing each other. Manigo up the near sideline. Whoa, what a pop.
Wow.
Got to be careful.
Yeah.
Don't want to get a taunting there.
Don't want to get a taunting, but you also, and the coach of the Cardinals did a very good job of taking a quick check of Austin Manigo. As we're going to see on the replay here, hand off to Manigo. Boy, bit of trickery there, fooled everybody. Manigo goes upfield, lowered the head, and you had a helmet-to-helmet hit. Now back to live action.
18-yard pickup by Manigo.
Michael Watkins going to lose about half of that, though, on the play.
Nice job in the backfield there, coming up, making that play. Looks like that's Malik Villafranco coming up, making the play for Centennial there. That's a huge loss. A loss of about 10 for Watkins, so that'll hurt the old yards per carry. Hurt the old yards total as well, as he loses 10 there. They move back into their own territory from their own 45-yard line. Here's Chapman barking out signals. High backs, they go with the roll, and miscommunication there as Chapman's taken down in the backfield. Wow. So back-to-back negative plays. Deion Barney there on the sack.
First play lost 10, this play lost 6. So they've lost 16 yards on the play. It's going to make it a 3rd down and 26, Rashawn, by my count, but maybe that's a little much. I don't want to make it any worse than it is. So it's going to be 10 to there, 12 to there, 10 to there, 22. So I was off by 4.
Which is pretty good as Lawndale burns another timeout. Better than me. I wouldn't have even attempted that. So you're better man than me.
Well, that's what I used to tell my math teacher. You know? That's close.
That's close. I tried that too, but it didn't work for me.
She go, what's 2 plus 2? I'd say 5. She go, no. I said, well, what is it? I said, that's close.
I tried that too. Never worked for me.
So a timeout taken on the field, I must admit, while our heads were turned. We didn't get, or did we?
Yeah, second charge timeout against Lawndale. So they have 1 left in this half. Coach Mathieson wants to talk about it. He was upset about that play. Chapman going to sit this play out. Christopher Murray going to be in there at quarterback, but Coach Mathieson was very upset. He was upset at Deion Evans for some reason. Didn't really see the play develop there because Barney got in there so quickly in the backfield, but he was upset with Evans about something, and now he's talking to Chapman.
And he's still talking to Chapman about the play.
And Evans. So they're both getting a mouthful from Coach Mathieson right now. Here's the sophomore on 3rd and long.
Sophomore lets it go. It's up in the air. Overthrows his intended receiver, who was Tyler Young. So that's going to bring up a 4th down and an obvious punting situation now on the 4th and 22.
I tell you what, if I'm Coach Russell Shaw, I got to be pretty pleased right now by how my team has been able to handle these 3 turnovers. I mean, 3 turnovers in the first half, and you're still 1 play away from taking the lead in this game.
Exactly. No, you're very pleased, and you're right, Rashawn, considering the circumstances they're in. Of course, every possession has been an adventure. Let's see what Lawndale can do with this punt.
You got to make teams pay for their mistakes, and so far, Lawndale only made Centennial pay for 1 of those 3 turnovers. As this is going to be caught and down.
That's Reed, Ronald Reed.
You talked about the moisture. We're seeing guys have some problems with their footing out there. Not only in the muddy patches, but in the spots of grass where it looks pretty good. You've seen some guys. You've seen Christopher Murray earlier on to go back in his back pedal and kind of slip a little bit before getting rid of the ball. You saw Chapman do the same as well. Guys are having a hard time finding their footing on this turf out here tonight because there is so much moisture in the air.
So it's going to be a 1st and 10. They say the ball's on the 37-yard line of the Apaches. Their second offensive possession of the night. They fumble that when they drop it, pick it up, and that's going to be for a loss on the play.
Whoa. You talk about a fortuitous bounce. I mean, that that ball bounced right back to the Apaches. And the backfield there was Shaquan Jackson. But the snap didn't even go. The Gaskins, number 12, he's the quarterback. Right. Jackson is the tailback there. Unless they were trying some type of trickery there, that ball's supposed to go to the quarterback, and it got snapped right to Jackson. And he definitely wasn't expecting it, but it bounced right back to him. Tell you what, that's one crazy bounce away from being turnover number 4.
And that's one of those plays that didn't work, and you take it out of the playbook. Another fumble on the play, it looks like, that was recovered by the Apaches.
And with so much moisture in the air like it is tonight, now's the time where if you're the center for Centennial, you got to have a towel for your quarterback to wipe his hands on. You got to request the officials to come in and kind of wipe down the ball a little bit here because obviously it's getting real slick.
It's getting real slick, and that's a 3rd down play. Now we're going to have their first charge timeout taken by the Apaches.
Timeout Centennial. You talk about an adventurous first half here. 8:44 left in this second quarter. And, I mean, the ball's been bouncing all over the place. And, unfortunately for Centennial, majority of the time it's bounced the Lawndale way. Well, they got a couple fortuitous bounce here on this drive. But, man, having a rough time.
A very rough time here in the early going. 8:44 left in the half. A half that, if dominated is the appropriate word, a half that's been thus far dominated by the Lawndale Cardinals.
I tell you what, they're getting all the bounces. We know that for sure. They're definitely getting all the bounces. But I'll tell you what, this Centennial team, I think they found something on the previous drive when they tried to go full house. That offensive line was able to get right to Lawndale and push them back, and we saw Torrance be able to do that last week. I'm not saying that this team is Torrance, but if there's something that works, you might want to stick with it. They go play fake here.
That one way overthrown for the intended receiver, number 6, Denzel Pfister. His quarterback misses him by a bunch, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. So, bar the penalty, that was essentially a 3-and-out circumstance for the Cardinals, for the Apaches.
And a tough throw there by Gaskins rolling. Yeah, obviously, if you're a right-hand quarterback, you want to roll to your right, which he was there, but there was bracket coverage right there on the receiver, so he did a nice job of trying to get it on top of the coverage, but just overshot his receiver there a little bit too much, and now Centennial is going to be forced to punt this one. And it looks like that's Tyler Young back to receive. Young's going to have to run back for this one.
Wow. Almost broke the initial wave. The pile is going to push him about 5 yards.
Yeah, but look who's dragging him. look who it is. Ryan Alexander got in there, and Alexander's not a big kid whatsoever. Don't have his measurables up here, but you can look at him and tell not the biggest kid, but he got in there as if he was one of those big linemen. He just started pulling Young back As you take a look at the end of the play, watch number 15 come in here. He gets right in here on top of the play, and look at him. He drags Young a good extra 5 yards or so. I mean, you look at him go. Are you kidding me?
There you go. So far, the star of the night for the Lawndale Cardinals, Ryan Alexander.
And there's no stat for that. Matter of fact, it may even be illegal. But if they don't call it, it's a great play. You can talk about the Bush push from so many years ago.
There
if they don't call it.
If they don't call it, hey,
touchdown
it's all
USC,
good.
right? And that ended up getting them into a national title game. Actually saw a play in the NFL this past Sunday against the Chargers and the Browns. Trenton Richardson was going alignment. He ran right into one of his own linemen, kept them afloat. Richardson was able to do the rest.
Cardinals with a loss on that play. Key is that Chapman's back. Chapman pump fakes, pulls it down, and he turns nothing into a little something as he picks up about 3 on the play. He's going to make it a 3rd down and 9 for the Cardinals. Ball spotted just across the 40-yard line. They're on 40. They need to get to the 49, call it the 48-yard line. So I tell you what, we're going to call it a 3rd down and 8 for the Cardinals.
Looks like you're trying to set up some type of misdirection throw there. Rolled one side, and they're looking for something on the backside there. Just wasn't home, but as you mentioned, turning nothing into something. Chapman's been so good at that with his legs. Here's Chris Murray at quarterback.
Good pass by Chris Murray to Austin Manigo. They're trying to strip it from him. He's out of bounds now. Now you got to slow down. Okay, now they're going to lose it. They'll get the benefit for the 1st down, but that flag looks like it's going to go against Lawndale, and if it does, that's going to cost them 15 yards coming back the other way from the spot of the foul. So it's more than enough for the 1st down, but it is going to cost them 15 yards. Personal foul against Lawndale. However, the result of the play was enough for the 1st down. Now we have a timeout being taken by Centennial. It's going to be their 2nd charge timeout.
It's a 30-yard pickup. Manigo now has 2 catches for 50 yards. Murray 2 of 3 for 40 yards. But of course, they lose 15 there on the penalty. We talked about this earlier with Manigo. He got along the sideline and he had a couple of words to say. Luckily, he didn't get caught that first time. But this time, the assistant coach tried to come in and push him away, but it was too late. And he had some help too. Another teammate came in there and started jawing as well at the end of the play, and that was just too much for the officials to overlook as the late flag came in for the personal foul and unsportsmanlike conduct.
As I mentioned, throwing that flag was Tim Plow, the line judge. Just a little referee teaching for you fans. The official that's on the sideline opposite the yard marker, that's the side judge. The official on the other side with the yard markers is the head linesman. So the side judge made that call.
And there's continuing to slow down Watkins here as he loses another couple.
Well, it looks like they're running a couple of running plays. They're using the ground game just to keep them honest. Of course, right now the ground game isn't helping them because they've lost another 2 yards on the play. Makes it a 2nd down and 12. They need to get to about the 32-yard line to pick up the 1st down.
That's 4 straight carries for Watkins. He's either had no gain or loss of yards. 2nd and long.
Out of the shotgun, Murray drops back to pass. Good pursuit. Wow, he goes down. Didn't go down by contact, but the referee threw a flag from behind the play. So we're going to face mask against the Apaches. And if that's a 15-yarder, that'll result in an automatic first down.
Get a break there. If you're Lawndale. I mean, that was a negative, another negative play as Chapman comes back in at quarterback.
Well, they call it, Rashawn, apparently one of the 5-yard variety. Repeat the down, so it's going to be second down. So that wasn't the big 15-yarder, which results in an automatic. So a small break if you Centennial. That play again to keep it on the ground is going to be 3rd and long still.
I was talking to Coach Shaw before the game. I asked him about his defense, and he said, "Oh, defense is solid." And so far, they've been a little bit more than solid. Starting to build some momentum in this game. The ends are coming off very hard in pass situations, and in the running game, they've been able to slow it down these last couple of possessions. Watkins got off to a pretty good start here tonight, but his last 5 carries, he's got nothing to show for it. Chapman in there at quarterback. They put Watkins in the slot in motion,
okay.
And it looks like we're going to have a delay of game here. That's exactly what they caused. That's a 5-yarder, so what was 3rd and long is going to be a 3rd and longer.
You're right. It's so much that it's even hard for us to measure from here, given our sight lines. Ball's at the 45-yard line of Lawndale. They've got to get down to about 35.
Yeah, looking at about 20, 22 yards here for the first down.
Now, to me, although Murray is here on the sideline, Murray, in my opinion, Rashawn, and you give me your thoughts, to me, probably has the better arm, it looks like, between he and Chapman. Okay, that's nothing doing there. That's a whole lot to ask of your quarterback to pick up 22, 23 yards on a 3rd and long.
Picked up a 5. You see they send the man in motion, Lambert. They try to play fake, and they're going to set up a little a little wide receiver screen here on the outside, but it never developed. Chapman had no issue but to tuck it and run. He picked up about 4 there, but definitely not enough for the first down.
Well, that's because, as you said, the defense is solid. High snap to get the kick away, though.
What a kick.
Let's see, can they get down? Ryan Alexander is down there near it. He and Michael Watkins, and they're going to down this thing, looks like inside the 5 or right at the 5. I'll see where the side judge sets up. He's setting up right on the 5-yard line, Rashawn.
What a kick. Got a favorable roll there. Talked about all the bounces going Lawndale's way tonight. There's another one. A booming punt there that time. 4:21 left in this first half. Lawndale 6. Centennial nothing. They're going to have to go 95 yards if they're going to get in the end zone here.
And we're going to keep positive thoughts, boy, but if you're Lawndale, boy, you're going to start thinking about the opportunities that got away from you. Is this going to be a safety? The officials are conferring.
No, they gave him about it. They actually give him about it. Well, he actually loses a yard there. That was Gaskins, the quarterback.
So, it's going to be a 2nd and long. Looks like they're going to very generously give
actually,
him
they give him a yard. They give him a yard there. They mark it at the 6-yard line. They actually give him a yard there on the quarterback sneak. Under 4 to play in this second quarter.
Once again, ball kept inside. This time to get a little running room. That's Reed with the carry, and for Lawndale, Pelzer is the one that brings them down. So they get out from the shadow of their goal line, as we like to say, and they're out across the 10 to about the 13. Need to get to the 15. So it's a 3rd down and 2. Scoreboard says 9, but in reality, It's a 3rd down and 2. Once again, this time, wow, Reed's going to get to the outside. He's got some running room. Wow. Finally, got to let him go. Come on, let him go, let him go. Okay. And that was number 21. That was Chris Neal that was talking about, who Reed was clearly out of bounds and he stayed with the play. So, as you see on the replay here, Rashawn, that's him coming up, and then you see, stepping in long after he's out of bounds. But guess what?
41
they
yard
were
pickup,
at their
41 yards.
8-yard line, and now they have brought it into Lawndale territory at the Lawndale 47, where it's a 1st and 10, 2:52 left here in the first half.
And that's Lee on the carry.
So it's a 2nd down, and I'm going to call it 8, Rashawn. Ball's right on the 45-yard line of the Lawndale Cardinals.
New quarterback is number 17, Johnny Bailey, for Centennial.
Pitches it back, new running back as well. So they've thrown a couple of different running backs at him. That's number 5. Number 5 is Deobey Lee. Or Deobey Lee. Not quite sure how you pronounce it, but we'd seen a pretty hefty dose of Reed for a while. Now you got Lee with the carry. Clock's running, 150 left in the half. Can't run fast enough if you're a Lawndale Cardinal fan, because after 3 turnovers and still only holding a 6-point lead, the Apaches are starting to threaten a little bit.
And they stay on the ground.
That's not doing them a lot of favors, I got to tell you, especially going up the field. Although the ground game is what got them to this position, so I think their coach Shaw is saying, well, I'm going to dance with the one that brought me to the party, but the clock is not in their favor. You saw it just now, 1:15 and counting down. 2nd down and 10 play, drop back to pass. Just throws it incomplete at the shoestrings of his intended receiver, Jamar Arsene.
Jailer Abram, 7.
Okay. But that incompletion.
My apologies, my handwriting's a little.
No. It just takes a moment. But that incompletion does stop the clock. 3rd down play, though, coming up 3rd and 10 from the 35-yard line. Crowd urging this Lawndale defense to try to make a stop here. There's a fumble on the play. They have a chance to get there. There's the pursuit. Yes, they did. Wow. All the way back out to midfield. 5, 10, 15. A 15-yard loss on the play. Clock continues to run. Centennial has 1 timeout left, approaching 30 seconds here in the first half. And still no indication that they want a timeout. 4th and long. Lawndale also has one, and they choose not to use it, so the clock is just going to run here.
That was David Tuivai on the stop there for Lawndale.
I think they're going to take the play clock penalty.
Let's go! Catch the ball!
Wow, that's a whole lot of time they got there. Wow, we're down the inside of 5 now. Now we get it stopped at 3 seconds. Now, by my count, Rashawn, and you're doing it too, my count has certainly Lawndale with 1 timeout left. I'm not so sure I don't burn that time out with about 30 seconds or so, which they had an opportunity get the ball back, give my team at least another shot at it.
Absolutely. I have it too. I have them down with 1 timeout remaining in this half. Not sure why you don't call a timeout there.
Kick is blocked. Is that Ryan Alexander?
That is
with
Ryan
it?
Alexander.
Ryan Alexander going around the corner. Will he make it? Ryan Alexander! Wow. On the block punt, Ryan Alexander, Rashawn. I'm going to declare it right now. Folks, this is the first time it's ever been done. We are at the half. Win, lose, or draw. Ryan Alexander.
Are you going to say it?
Well, we certainly know. We know already. He has the tip of the hat award. He's now playing for bigger things.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Are you kidding me? You talk about a stud. What a first half he's having here tonight. I mean, the ball. You talk about the ball finding the guy. It's just finding Ryan Alexander tonight. He had the fumble recovery earlier on in that first quarter. Remember the interception that he had? That also in the first quarter. And then here, 3 seconds left in the half, a block punt. Ball falls right into the lap of Alexander, a scoop and a score. And here we go, up 12-0 for the Lawndale Cardinals, looking to go up 13-0 with the extra point. And they go for a fake.
Did it get it? Yes, they do. On the pass. That was to Pelzer, I believe.
That was Pelzer.
Pelzer with the 2-point play. 2 points to Pelzer. Wow.
Are you kidding me? Pelzer. Are you kidding me?
Yep. Now here we're going to see.
Here's the block.
Again.
You see the ball go right to Alexander on the left side of your screen, and there he goes. They try to get him. Abram tried to pull him down by the hair. Nothing doing. Scoop and score. Touchdown, Lawndale.
We're going to call that a 40-yard return.
And then here's the extra point. They're rolling out. And there's Pelzer. Pelzer breaks the tackle, stays on balance.
Wow.
Puts that left hand in the dirt, pushes himself back up, and is able to get in the end zone from the pass from Rivera.
So
14-0. You got to be wondering.
Wow.
And I defer to you on this. You know the rules. 52 is normally not eligible receiver. I can only imagine he has to be reported.
You're reporting to the official.
I have to imagine he reported it to the official earlier on. And here we are, Cardinals up 14-0 at the half on senior night.
Hey,
it's
fans,
been all Ryan Alexander, too.
All Ryan Alexander, number 15, a big first half for the Lawndale Cardinals with 3 seconds left. Just what we're saying, they should have called a timeout. Boy, they score. And so, with that, we're going to go to the locker room at the half. Lawndale up 14-0 here on senior night at Lawndale High School. Fans, will be back with second half action in just a few moments. All right, fans, we're back here at the Cardinals' nest with the Cardinals holding a 12-0 lead. That 2-point conversion, Rashawn, that we saw at the end of the first half by Pelzer has been waved off by the officials. You may have an explanation for it. Lawndale will kick to start the second half, though, and here's the opening kickoff. Bit of a squib kick taken by one of the deep men. No, boy, he's coming right up the middle. He's got a hole, and now he breaks through the containment. And the last man in front of him, who, if I'm not mistaken, was the kicker, number 13, makes the tackle. That was the kicker, Alex Alcaraz. Rashawn was the only thing that stood between the return man and the goalpost at the other end.
You see a nice return there by Harold Johnson. And you're right, big time stop there by the kicker. Otherwise, this game would have been tied up with a ensuing or impending extra point. Now, going back to that 2-point conversion, we talked about it a little bit before we got off the air in the first half. They took it off. They wiped it off because Pelzer, because of his uniform number 52, and an eligible receiver. First play is a pass to the outside. And that's caught out there by Jamal Borthwell. Now, if you have a number between 50 and 79, you're considered a lineman and considered technically ineligible to be able to touch the football. Now, Pelzer wears uniform number 52. And as you said, Rufus, if you report it, then it's okay.
Okay.
However, they didn't report it because Pelzer ordinarily isn't a guy there in that spot. He was subbed in there because of injuries.
Boy, they put everybody in the pass pattern, and Lawndale went for it, and they come up with a big first down. That play started at about the 45-yard line, and they're going to spot it up here at the 30. So that's about a 25-yard play. Here we see that's your quarterback with the carry coming right at you.
That's
on
Gaskins, right?
CityTV.
It's Gaskins right there. That was a design fake, however. It looked like a design fake. I asked him about it. He said it was a design fake. He, being Coach Mathieson, however, because of the uniform number, Pelzer was ineligible, and they wiped the 2 points off. So it's 12-0 is the score here.
Reed with the carry picks up a couple on that play after a couple of big plays by Centennial. We're here in second half action, just getting underway, fans. Centennial received the kickoff to start the second half, and boy, they've had a couple of big plays here in the third quarter already. Although they start trailing 12-0, they're knocking at the door real early here, trying to make this a ball game. Wow. Another near interception by Alexander. Got a couple of flags coming in now.
Bookend flags, one near the line of scrimmage and the other one towards the end of the play. As I set up the screen there for, I believe that was Johnson there on the outside. Let's see as they sort this thing out.
So a personal foul against Centennial.
Legal block in the back.
They're going to spot that one from the 30. See the replay here. Drop back. We'll see if we have an opportunity to see it. Well, we saw the near interception there. Don't see the block in the back, but that game is going to come back. So a break for Lawndale, a tough break for Centennial.
It's kind of the theme of the first half, right? Anytime Centennial would get something going, they would do something to shoot themselves in the foot to push them backwards, whether it be a penalty such as that or even them losing the ball with turnovers. Here's Gaskins over the middle and overshot his receiver. He's looking for Johnson there on a little skinny post.
So that's going to make it a third down. Scoreboard shows 20, and that is accurate. So it's a third down and 20. Ball at the 40-yard line. Obviously, if you do the math, they need to get to the 20 of Lawndale. So I've talked about it all season. These are the big third down plays, Rashawn, where your defense has to come through. You've got them exactly where you want them, third and long. Quarterback keeper. Wow, let's see. Okay, there was a hand up around the head, but no flag on the play, so it's going to make it a 4th and 10, maybe 11. And so I think that's a situation where, as we see with most of these schools, Rashawn, where the kicking game isn't exactly one of the strong points for most of them. So therefore, even in 4th and long situations, you're almost forced to go for it, as Centennial is here.
And kind of in that weird area, too short to punt, too long for a field goal. Empty set for Gaskins.
Well, and they let him step up. They should be able to, wow, they cannot bring him down until after he picks up, looks like the first down. Let's see. This is
He needed 12. Looked like he got about 13, Rufus, before he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, if he got to the 20, if he's where they're standing, and we see the chains moving, so that makes it a first down. Rashawn, as you see, the quarterback Gaskins on the carry there. It was a it was a 3rd and 20. They pick up 10 the first time and 13 the second time on the 4th down to get the first down. Boy, that's a hole right there. It doesn't get called. Receiver goes down. So now Centennial, they have new life. They've come out of the locker room reinvigorated.
They pick up about 8 there. On a little bubble screen on the outside by Johnson. You're talking about Gaskins, how much he can run. 4 carries, 44 yards. Now in this game, 43 of those yards have come on this drive.
2nd down and short from about the 11. They need to get just inside the 10-yard line, about a yard and a half. And it looks like they picked that up. Well, actually, they'll pick up a lot more than that. They pick up the touchdown. That was Reed with the carry. 11-yard carry for Ronald Reed. And with 8:15 left in the third quarter, Centennial finally gets on the board.
And a nice little carry there by Reed. He refused to be taken down. He came off that right side, emerged out of there and just refused to be taken down, got inside the end zone. Now, Coach Mathieson talked to his team at halftime about finishing the game, finishing strong. He said they've been a second half team all season long, and he wanted them to continue that theme so far here tonight as the extra point is up and good by Centennial. Well, so far not the start that they were looking for here in this second half, and you figure, Rufus, it was just a matter of time before Centennial started to get things going in their direction. They had some success in the first half, just nothing to show for it because of the penalties that they made, and that theme continued here to start this third quarter. However, on second and long, this Lawndale defense was able to allow a first down, and when you do that, you talked about defense having to step up on those second and long, third and long situations and getting off the field, Rufus. They weren't able to do that here on this first possession of the second half, and it cost them. So now just back to a one-possession game, 12-7. Lawndale leads it here.
And you're right. In the long yardage situations, their defense failed them because the long yardage situation, especially when it was 4th and 10, man, you should have that back going the other way. Didn't work out that way, and now guess what? Centennial is a touchdown away from being in the lead. As I score right now with 8:15 left in the third, is 12-7 in favor of Lawndale.
I wouldn't be surprised to see an onside here, especially with how well this defense played to end the first half.
Well, they're up and ready.
They kick it deep.
Watkins picks it up, drops it, picks it up again. Now has some running room. Can he get to the corner? Shifts hand, puts it to the outside. There's a flag on the far side. Watkins brings it across the 30, but we've got a flag on the field thrown out at about the 35-yard line on the return. And normally that's going to go against the return team. Let's see what our referee Gravett says.
Clip.
Yep.
Yeah, legal chop block against Lawndale, so that's going to move him back, as you mentioned. So that on the return, it's a spot of foul penalty, so it's going to be about 15 yards from that spot. Chop block, I believe that's a 15-yarder, right, or is it a 10-yarder?
We'll see.
We'll definitely find out here.
And, you know, as you're figuring it out, I guess what's interesting to me, there's 5. There's 10.
There's
Okay.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Now, here is what I saw, and I'll have to ask one of my officiating buddies. The spot of the foul was ahead of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I'm not so sure that that's fair. It should be from where the ball is located, you move backward, okay?
Maybe it's one of those things where if it's within 10 yards, there's Watkins.
And there you see the flag there that's going to come in for the late hit out of bounds. So Watkins picks up the first, and they're going to add another, I believe, 15 yards onto this, Rashawn.
And that's the first positive carry for Watkins
in a while
in his last 5 carries. Remember, he was stopped there. Centennial defense did a good job of stopping him to either no yards or negative yards for a good little stretch there to end that first half. But he makes something happen here with his first carry of the second half. Picks up 13 for a first down. You add 15 to that. It ends up being a 28-yard play for the Cardinals. Personal foul against Centennial.
Wow. Another tough break if you're an Apache fan. But if you're Lawndale right now, you're loving it after the Apaches came out to start the second half and kind of rub your nose in the dirt.
Give it to Watkins, and nothing doing there as he loses one.
Chapman comes to the sideline to get an instruction from his coach. Haven't seen Murray make an appearance yet. The couple times we did see Murray, as you see Watkins go down on the tackle. Good camera work by the fine crew here at City TV. Second down and 12 now for the Cardinals. Good run. I believe that's Johnson with the run, Adonis Johnson, who went out, as you said, last week. First time we've called his name tonight, I believe, Rashawn, on at least on the offensive play with the carry.
Yeah, he picks up a few there and close to a first down marker. Makes it a third down and short, so now you got yourself in a third and manageable situation.
Ball's at the 40. Marked at the 40, needs to get to about the 37-yard line to pick up the first. So they're going to call it a third down and 3. That's what we're calling it. Boy, nothing doing near. Chapman really got turned around.
Yeah, that's Deion Barney. They try to let a little misdirection play once again to get all the action going one side and try to get Chapman rolling to the opposite side, and Barney not fooled. He was right there. But going back to that previous play, actually that was the second carry for Johnson in this game. But you take a look at it, they try to play fake and try to roll Chapman out, and Deion Barney says, I'm not having none of that. He stops him in his tracks, gets some help from his friends as they try to strip that ball out of there before the officials ruled the play dead.
So you are in a position, Rashawn, now where you can punt if you so choose, and you can play position, field position, but it looks like they're going to go for it. Boy, on a 4th and 10 from the 47 of Centennial, Lawndale shows that they're going for it.
This could be dangerous here. Low snap.
Got to say, I don't know about this one, Rashawn. Wow, they get nothing out of it. Play blows up on them right at the line of scrimmage. Chapman also gets a bit shaken up for his trouble. He's trying to get off the field. And he's limping off there. You see him on your screen.
See, they try to set up the little middle screen here with Watkins, but look at the pressure coming off of the end there. We talked about these rush ends for Centennial, and that time right there was Vicente Castillo coming in there, and that play never got going.
And the question that I asked before that play was, would you rather play a position game, okay, a field position game, go ahead, punt it away, try to pin them somewhere inside the 20. They opt not to. Instead, they decide to give Centennial half a field to play with. We'll see if that decision comes back to haunt them.
And it's a time where you kind of got to be honest with yourself as a head coach. Yes, Centennial didn't score on you in that first half, but then you also got to look at what Centennial did, what kind of self-inflicted wounds they put on themselves that contributed to that effort. You take a look at the little bubble screen once again. They've really been trying to set that up, and Johnson really good and running after the catch. That time he picks up 4 on the play.
Well, we talked about the fact that this senior night, and I mentioned that we get as many shout-outs in as we could, and in a moment we'll start to do some of that as the Centennial quarterback goes around the left side, takes it down to the near the 30-yard line where it's going to be a first down for Centennial. And now Lawndale is going to use, as we watch the replay here, boy, their quarterback, man, he hits that left corner. Pelzer giving pursuit, and he steps out of bounds before Pelzer can get to him. And Lawndale takes a timeout, their first charge timeout here in the second half. You say, well, who are the seniors? This is a senior-dominated team, Rashawn, and they've got a bunch of them. I'm talking about the Lawndale Cardinals. Here are a couple of them right off the top. Deion Evans, Michael Watkins, Tyler Young. Well, Ingerson Lambert isn't one. Tim Jones, he's been gone for a while. Anthony Chapman is a senior. Joseph Carrala is another. Alex Alcaraz. DeAndre Shaw. No, Chris Neal, I should say. And some others we'll get to, including Adonis Johnson, whose number we've called tonight already. We'll get the rest of you guys in before we're done tonight. Again, congratulations and best wishes in your future football pursuits, if that's what your desire is, but best wishes in life, period. Wow, Ryan Alexander. Did you see that, Rashawn?
He's been all over the place tonight, hasn't he?
No, that was a hit. That was a running lot type hit, son.
It was. He was going he was going after the ball, though. As they tried to set up a little screen there. Ball was kind of floated in the air, and he was going for the ball, and in the process, put a pretty big hit on the back there. And you look at him, they kind of collide there, but he got his fingertip on the ball before it fell incomplete.
Well, you see that the receiver got the worst.
Got the worst of it. That was Ronald Reed there, the receiver for Centennial.
Again, that pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage. One of the linemen, one of the D linemen, looks like big number 55 wants to take some credit for it. That's Joseph Casalino. Not quite sure if that was Joe who got his hand on it, but the way he came out of there, it certainly looked that way. We'll see on the replay if we can see what else. There we see the hand come out of the middle. If we stay with it, yep. That was Casalino. Drops back to pass again. This pass incomplete. So that's going to bring up another 4th and 10. And once again, this is a field position situation where you're right. I mean, for where they are on the field at the 30-yard line, 50, 40, 30, at about the 32. It's a bit far to punt, so they're going to, well, it's not a bit far to punt. It's a short distance, so they're going to go ahead and go for it for where they are. Another big challenge for the Lawndale defense on 4th and 10, Rashawn.
Here you go. Gaskins looking to run. His legs have been so dangerous here in this second half, but they stop him short, though, after a pickup of about 6.
Yeah, he got a bunch of it, but not enough of it. Got 6, needed 10, so it's a first down going the other way. See the replay here.
You see Gaskins rolling out. He tried to cut it back, but Alexander got there, wrapped his arms around him, was able to drive him down to the turf. So he saves the first down there, Alexander does, and we can't stop saying enough. I know it's senior night, and he's just a junior, but, I mean, he's making plays.
He's making plays, and he's stealing some seniors' thunder. But as a team, I'm sure all of his teammates love it because of him, he right now has them in the lead at 12-7. Looks like we're going to see a Chris Murray sighting, our first one here in the second half. And boy, and Chapman's coming off limping. Now, one thing Murray can do, and I mentioned this before as we watch the replay here, as you see the replay there on the short gain for Lawndale, and that is that Murray, he's got a strong arm. He can put the ball up the field, and you can see Centennial respects that. They've got a deep safety for just that reason, but they keep it on the ground, so it's going to be a 3rd and long. It's going to be about a 3rd and 8. Long 7. Watch the replay here. Hands it off to Adonis Johnson. Adonis turns inside, but he's met after a very short gain on the play.
You take a look at Chapman over there on the sideline getting stretched out, and he's been banged up tonight. He's been hit pretty hard. He's taking a few shots. He's tough, though. We've seen him take some hits this season.
Oh,
but he continuously is able to get himself back into the ball game. As this one it looked like the receivers may have got a head start there for Lawndale. It's going to be a false start.
Indication by the side judge Plow, as I mentioned before. He indicates to the official that it's going to go against the Cardinals, and it does, and boy, it's going to make it a 3rd and 12, Rashawn.
Not in the cards. You're already looking at a 3rd and 7, which is, pretty long in its own right, but now 3rd and 12.
Got to get out across the 35. In fact, they got to get out near the 40, their own 40, in order to pick up the first down.
And
wow,
picked off.
And now we got a late flag on the play by the referee. Got an indication that it's a touchdown. So we're going to see. Let's let the officials sort this out.
That's Shaquan Jackson on the pick 6. Let's see if it stands, however.
Wow, it's going to go against.
Unsportsmanlike against Centennial.
But what we still don't know and still haven't seen from the referee Gravette is whether or not the touchdown stands. Okay, and it does. So they're going to mark it off. Wow, with 1:59 left, interception return for a touchdown. Right?
So they call it unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Centennial, and it appears they're going to enforce this on the kickoff, is what Coach Mathieson is elected to do. So they'll try to attempt the extra point here to make it a 2-point game. Not sure if you don't go for 3 here. Or go for 2 here, pardon me.
Go for 3. All right.
To make it a 3-point game. They elect to go for 1 and make it a 2-point game. So Centennial leads 14-12, 1:59 left in this 3rd quarter.
And I don't know if we have that replay of that last score.
You take a look at Shaquan Jackson there on the pick 6, and once he caught that, he was pretty much gone as he dove into the end zone for the pilot. Didn't see what the unsportsmanlike penalty was against. And I could only assume this, but I'm taking it that it wasn't against Jackson, because if it was, then that touchdown may have came back. You know, they implemented that rule a couple of years ago, that unsportsmanlike rule a couple of years ago, that if you're taunting either before or once you enter the end zone, they can wipe the touchdown away. So I'm taking it wasn't against him, but it must have been against someone else. Regardless of the fact, they enforced the penalty here on the kickoff. So they'll be kicking it off from their own 25-yard line.
And so a game in which they have trailed for most of the game, they now take the lead. Boy, here's a nice return being put together by Ingerson Lambert. And of course, we know that that in the early going of the season against Lusinger, I believe it was.
He was the guy.
Ingerson Lambert was the star of that game. Well, somebody's going to have to step up. We've got a little under 14 minutes left in the contest. A contest in which, as we see Ingerson Lambert's return here, but a contest in which until just a moment ago, the Lawndale Cardinals had dominated Rashawn. But as we had said before, they had not been maximizing their turnovers.
Opportunities, absolutely not. Here's Murray still in there. Going to stay with the kid, even though he committed that interception. Wow. He throws it up for grabs. This one picked off. Picked off as well. Denzel Fisher. That's back-to-back interceptions thrown by the sophomore Murray. And I tell you what, momentum was wearing the all red of Lawndale earlier on. It's put on the white and red of the Apaches now.
Well, I thought there was some interference on this play, Rashawn. Actually, before the ball, before it comes into our camera shot, the official was right on top of it, though. He didn't flag
against Fisher?
Yes.
I thought the other way. I thought it was interference against Evans. I thought he got away with a little bit of a push off there. Regardless of the fact, no flag.
No flag, and it's a 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line.
They're taking their shot.
Wow. And Ingerson Lambert not looking back, does not see. Well, it started at the 20, so to the 50 is 30. And then we're going to add another 20. That's a 50-yard pass play, Rashawn.
And that's Jayler Abram.
Now that one was easy for me, fans. That's why I was able to do that so quickly. 20 to the 50 and the 50 to the 30. 50 yards on the pass play, and boy, you talk about the life going out of a crowd. This Lawndale crowd is now a bit more reserved than they were going into the locker room at halftime.
Second catch of the night for Abram. They tried a little wide receiver screen once again, and oh, look at this. Bouncing off is Johnson. Is still on his feet, Johnson.
Wow.
Breaking a tackle, Johnson, and into the end.
No, they're going to say he stepped out.
They say he stepped out.
So he stepped out at about the 2-yard line. This drive started at the 20. Watch the replay again here. Pass out in the flat. And we were wondering, well, hey, how could this team play such a good El Segundo team the way that they did and come up short? First of all, it was a surprise, but now you kind of see why they were able to, even though he ended up having to forfeit it, why they were able to get the measure of a team like El Segundo.
Yeah, absolutely, and win that game. I mean, you see the athleticism of the you see the athleticism of the team, and you see, you know, just how many athletes they have on the field. So many guys that can make plays on this field. I mean, you look at it. I mean, you saw Johnson there. We called Abrams' name a couple of times tonight. You seen Reed in the running game along with Jackson, and it's been that they have that kind of repertoire here for them offensively. And I mean, even the quarterback Gaskins. I mean, for what he's been able to do in the air, he's been able to do so much more on the ground as well tonight. As you take a look at the injured player.
That's big number 55. That's Casalino.
And Casalino was credited with that block punt earlier at the end of the first half.
Well, and he's trying to put a little pressure on his feet. Can't exactly tell which part of the leg extremity it is, but crowd gives him a nice round of applause. He's going to head over to the bench and find a seat, and the training staff will give attention to him. But when we come back, it's 1st and goal from the 2-yard line, Rashawn.
They keep it on the ground.
Touchdown is the interception. The indication, not the interception, the indication, and that's Reed that scores it.
That's his second touchdown of the night. Second rushing touchdown on the night for Reed. 8 carries, 72 yards for him, and it's a 20-12 lead for Centennial. They've come out of the locker room at halftime and put up 20 straight against this Lawndale team, and here they are going for the point after. This will make it a 9-point game. So this is huge.
Snaps down, kicks up. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow.
It's huge because it makes it a 2-possession game. If it's just 8 points, you get a touchdown and a go for a 2-point conversion. But with a 9-point lead, that now makes it a 2-possession game, and you got a buck. Just over a minute left here in this third quarter. And Lawndale all of a sudden finds himself down by 2 possessions. And It's been their turnovers here in the second half. And unlike what Lawndale wasn't able to do in the first half, make Centennial pay for their mistakes, Centennial reversely has done the opposite here in the second half. They've made Lawndale pay for their 2 second half turnovers. One to pick six, of course, and then the next one after the interception, the ensuing drive, they take it down all the way to the 2-yard line before Reed is able to punch it in for the second time tonight. It's a 9-point lead here for the Apaches.
Boy, and
it's a team you can only be thinking right now. If you're Centennial, wow, we could and should be playing for a playoff spot right now. And I was talking to Coach Shaw before the game, and the reason why they had to forfeit that game against El Segundo was because in the game prior, a player was ejected from the game. Now I'll wait till finish after this kickoff. Onside kick recovered. It looks like that's Evans down there that recovers it. So Lawndale now going to have to find an answer here, some answers here, plural.
Well, that's the first one, Rashawn. At least Lawndale had their eyes open. I was a little surprised by that call by Centennial, but Lawndale was alert. They were ready. And so now Centennial gives them excellent field position.
Absolutely. But this Centennial team, they forfeited the game against El Segundo because in the week prior against Torrance, in a loss, they had a player get ejected from that game. Now, Coach Shaw says he wasn't informed that the player was ejected from the game. No officials gave him any type of ruling or said anything to him that the player was ejected. You know, if you get kicked out of the game, you got to sit out the next game. Well,
right.
Not knowing that the kid got kicked out, the kid played the following game, and so he was declared ineligible. That's the ineligible player, and that's the reason why they had to forfeit. The sad thing for them is he's not even one of their playmakers. I mean, he's a kid, he plays, but he's one of the backups on the team.
Is there an appeal opportunity?
He talked to CIF about it, actually showed them the videotape of the play in which the player allegedly got kicked out of the game and how no official said anything to him whatsoever, but that appeal was denied.
Okay, so a tough break for Centennial, you're right, because otherwise this game would mean a playoff spot. Now all it means is that we're trying to win one before we wrap up the season. Neither school has, at this point, consequently, has any playoff possibilities in play. So, for seniors on both sides, even though we're here at Lawndale and celebrating senior night here, this is the last hurrah for a lot of these kids. We stopped at Adonis Johnson. Let's talk about David Samayoya as a senior, Christian Pelzer, Juan Alcazar, Joseph Casalino, Edward Bonelis, and Michael Fuerte, Victor Torres, and Martin Ramirez. Those are the seniors on this squad. We're looking down at the sideline. We'll come back to that in a moment. They're trying to see if Chapman is going to be ready to come back in, but we got a lot of movement everywhere.
It's starting to fall apart. Centennial players saying it's going against Lawndale.
The referee still waiting, getting indication from his crew members.
A false start. And take a look at the body language. Huge indicator, Rufus.
Yep. And
you just start to see the confidence kind of exuding out of the Centennial players now. And reversely, it's not for Lawndale. And looking a little bit down here, as Chapman is still on the bench, Murray continues to play out there. Chapman on the bench, and I don't see his helmet next to him, or his helmet is there next to him on the bench, but he's trying to stretch. He has his shoulder pads unfastened. He's trying to stretch, but clearly he's got to be hurt if he's not in there. It's a tough kid. We've seen him bounce back plenty of times this season. So it's on the hands of the sophomore. Tries to escape.
Wow. Now that could have been a late piling on hit against Centennial, not called.
And you look at Villafranco, got in there once again. Number 14 with his pressure. As they got in there, had a meeting at the quarterback. Jordan Timms in there as well, as that plays the last play of the third quarter.
So
this is it, Rufus.
Couldn't have come a moment too soon for Lawndale. Let's kind of set the stage for you. They went into the locker room at the half, Rashawn, leading 12-0. Third quarter ends. They're trailing 21-12. 21 unanswered points.
Yeah, 21 straight for the Apaches coming out of the locker room at halftime. Not sure what Coach Shaw told them, but whatever it is, it worked. And they put together some good drives in this second half. They took the opening drive down. Remember, they had some Lawndale had some opportunities to stop them, second and long, third and long, unable to stop them. They take it down, results in a Reed touchdown. Also, they get a pick six from Shaquan Jackson. And then the ensuing possession, Chris Murray throws another interception on the very first play of the drive. And what do you have it? They ended up taking it down and scoring again on a Reed touchdown run. So Reed with 2 touchdown runs in that third quarter. And that's where we stand right now, 21-12.
Wow, and they're just trying to get something going, anything. That was a third down play. I'm going to presume brings up a fourth. And right now, I don't think you certainly have no choice. If you want to stay in this game and have a shot, you've got to kick it away here. And Alcazar, the punter, the place kicker, sets up to punt it away. Good snap, gets the kick away. He's had a couple of good ones. You got to see where the ball is. Now that's the one thing, and yet again for all the energy that he plays with. And I noticed this a couple of games ago for Alexander. He doesn't know where the ball is when he's running up the field. At some point, you got to peek back and see.
And see the ball.
Right, and see the ball.
Notice Chapman, he was up walking on the sideline for a little bit, but limping very noticeably. And does not appear he's going to be able to return to this game. And that's a big blow. That's a big blow for Lawndale.
In Murray's class, he's a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken?
Freshman, actually.
Freshman,
so
okay.
Freshman. We've been calling him a sophomore all night, but he's actually just a freshman. Just turned 14 years old last month.
Pass incomplete. Right now, Centennial attempting to add to their abundance of riches.
Gaskin's still in there at quarterback. Remember, he came out for about a possession in that first half, but he's back in there now, and he's going to tuck it and run.
Wow. Alexander in on the tackle, but boy, they don't bring him down until after he's picked up the first down.
And about a 14-yard pickup there by Gaskins. And he's now at 79 yards rushing on the night, 7 carries. And I think the huge difference with Centennial offensively from the first half to the second half has been his legs. 78 of those yards will come right here in this second half.
And of course, Centennial will be content to run the ball here in the second half, just to burn clock, if nothing else.
But they tried to and you see Reed just lost his footing there. See, tried to get back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like he probably lost a yard there. But Gaskins, and one thing, we talked about it earlier on about how he can run. Didn't really run much in that first half, but his legs have been the difference for them offensively here. So he steps up, looking
back
at
the pass. Wow, that one incomplete. That was Tyler Young, number 3.
And it looked
for
like
the Cardinals in on the coverage.
Looked like that might have been Lambert that came up and made the hit, dislodging the ball from the receiver there. And Young kind of got the brunt of that hit, though. As we take a look at the replay, you see Young was right underneath, but you see Lambert come in there and makes a play on the ball, and Young came in there late, may have slipped, it looks like. Didn't see him get hit there. There's a timeout on the field.
Chapman, if we see the team huddled on the sideline. Chapman at the other end, away from the team's huddle, still seated on the bench along with Rivera, along with Austin Manigo. Michael Watkins was there on the bench with him a moment ago, as was Deion Evans. So the offense trying to collect itself. Right now, they're all hopeful that maybe Chapman can get back in here. But just as you say, Rashawn, from the looks of it, from the looks of it, it does not appear
Doesn't look good.
that he's going to be back.
Yeah, he appears to be in some amount of pain down there on that sideline. That last time out charged the Centennial, by the way.
Well, you can also charge that first down to Centennial, and Alexander gives chase and makes a touchdown-saving tackle. So they're going to spot the ball, wow, at about the 10-yard line.
So about a 45-yard pickup, a little bit of redemption there for Marquise Lewis. Remember, he muffed that punt earlier on.
So they've got it spotted at the 11 officially, so they can pick up a first down without a touchdown.
They go with that full house backfield. Haven't seen that much in the second half. A nice job. And they call him Conzo. Joseph Conzolino. Remember, he came out limping a little bit earlier on in this half, but he's back in there now and picks up the nice TFL. You see Reed stopped right in his tracks. A loss of a couple there by Reed. Actually loses 3 there.
So it makes it a second down and 13 from the 13-yard line. Actually from the 14.
They go play fake. Gaskins just going to keep it. Gaskins around the edge.
Wow. And that's a score. So 13-yard run here in the 4th by Gaskins, Rashawn.
You see that they go pretty much a naked bootleg there. Design quarterback keeper. He faked it and got right on the outside, right on the edge, and ran right towards the end zone. 27 straight points here for Centennial in this second half. And Gaskins is now over 90 yards rushing on the night. And 91 of those have come right here in this second half. His legs have definitely been the difference here in this second half for Centennial.
And boy, a night which started with so much promise for the Lawndale Cardinals, Rashawn. A night which started with them owning Centennial in the first half. Boy, has really turned south here in the second. In the third quarter wasn't theirs. That kick is up, and it is no good. And so it's a 3-possession game now. Well, actually 2. It's a 15-point game, so 2 touchdowns, 2 extra point conversions, and you're right back in it.
And Anthony Ramirez came off a little gimpy after that touchdown for Lawndale. But yeah, in theory, yeah, a 2-possession game here. But they kind of sucked all the life out of this Lawndale team. I mean, you look at the body language is a telltale sign. And this Lawndale sideline almost lifeless. Rufus, as we look at them here from our vantage point, we have the opportunity to have them pretty much right in front of us here. And we mentioned it earlier that the defense of Centennial looks a lot more alive offensively. They're doing a lot of things. They're a lot more alive on the offensive side of the ball, with Gaskins literally running the show for them at his quarterback position. And Lawndale looking for some answers. And next year probably came a little bit sooner for them, having to go with the freshman Chris Murray here. Not necessarily in the rotation, but because of the injury to Chapman. Here's Lambert going to take it at his own 9-yard line.
Lambert looking for a hole, trying to turn it up. Finds a bit of a hole, can't squeeze through it. Rashawn, he was a step from squeezing through that hole, though, for what could have been a huge gain, if not a scoring gain. So Chapman goes back out there. The crowd gives him a bit of a hand, I believe, or maybe they were cheering the band. I must admit, the pep band for the Lawndale Cardinals making some noise in the house, Rashawn. He's out there.
He's out there. Look who's back in there, Chapman. Limping and all. He's going to give it a shot, and let's see.
Too many men on the field, I think is what they're going to call against Centennial. Let's see. Or did they call a timeout?
Too many man against Centennial.
Yep.
It's not a timeout. The teams are going to have to go back and play.
Yeah.
There's no timeout on the field.
Come on, Lawndale, get back out. You don't want to add to your woes.
Both teams are huddling near their own sideline now as if it were a timeout, but it definitely wasn't a timeout called there. Under 9 to play in this one.
And one of the rare sights, Rashawn, I think that Centennial has more band members here than they do fans.
Yeah, I can remember a time where there used to be a whole lot more band members than they have there from the Centennial band. I mean, that band used to be one of the livest bands in all of Southern California. Watkins gets the carry.
Yeah, taken off of his feet. And the one thing that's also obvious in this situation with some of the challenges that Watkins has had tonight, even though coach is giving him a lot of looks, is the fact that Adonis Johnson clearly has to be suffering some lingering effects from the injury that he incurred last week. I mean, he's out there on the field, he's playing, but they made a decision not to ask him to add to that by trying to be a ball carrier tonight. I mean, I think he's had 1 or 2 carries,
Yeah,
and that's been about it.
I have him down here for 3 carries, 13 yards. And I think you're right. Coach said he was going to try to give it a go tonight, and the fact that it's senior night, I think, may have a lot to do with the reason why he's even in the lineup tonight. As that play goes for another negative gain, and none other than Villafranco there once again. I mean, he's been all over the place. He's been very active, playing on the outside there.
Crowd still hanging in, bro, and it's getting just a little bit cold out here when you can start to feel it in your feet. Okay. But hey, you know, they know it's the last game of the season. They know it's senior night, and there is a very nice sized Lawndale crowd here, and I got to give a shout out to them and their props for hanging with their team throughout this entire season. Hasn't been all that they had hoped for, but they've got the building blocks in place for a great future here at Lawndale High.
And Chapman tried to escape there, and who else? Villafranco. He comes in and gets him around the legs. I'll tell you what, he's been impressive tonight. If he hasn't made plays, he's created pressure to help somebody else make a play. You know, he's been extremely, extremely active tonight.
Back to kick once again, Alcaraz.
Now you're playing against the clock here.
Wow. Now we got a flag being thrown in by the side judge. It's thrown back here. We have to see what the call is. And boy, he threw it in pretty aggressively. So whatever he saw, he clearly saw it take place. Illegal block being called against Centennial. Spot of that foul was the 44-yard line, so they'll mark off 10 from there.
Under 6.5 to play here. Clock definitely not on the side of Lawndale. Gonna need a stop. We need a turnover. A turnover will be nice here for Coach Mathieson.
And it's definitely what they need. As I said, they're still within striking distance, but as you said, whoa, and there it was right there, and it just slipped through their hands like butter.
Pelzer was right there. I mean,
now,
that was
I'm not so sure Pelzer would have made it all the way to the end zone, but
I'm not sure either.
But he did have that,
and he would have changed the field position definitely, because they're in their own zone here, Centennial, and That's a play in this situation you just got to have. You got to make.
But he would have been running with bad intentions.
Yeah, unfortunately not able to make the play there for Lawndale. It does stop the clock, however, with the incompletion. And they go with the quarterback run by Gaskins. And he picks up 6.
And you're right, here in the second half, Rashawn, they simply have not had an answer for Gaskins.
He's nearing that 100-yard mark. I mean, he's been phenomenal with his feet here in the second half. I mean, he's made a couple throws, but his legs have really been the difference here. And you got to credit that offensive line of Centennial as well. And they give it to him again. That time they stop him. He gets stopped shy of the first down on 3rd and short. So that's going to bring up 4th. So big stop here for Lawndale. Clock's going to run, though, as we hit 5.5 left.
And we'll see exactly what Centennial's going to do. But like you say, clock's running, approaching 5 minutes. Lawndale trailing by a score of 27-12. Led 12-0 at the half. They've been outscored here in the second half by a rejuvenated Apache team, 27-0. Kind of reminds you of SC last week when they were outscored 26-0 in the second half before they put up some points. But by then, Arizona had gotten the measure of them.
Absolutely. They're going to call a delayed game here against Centennial. They shifted. They went to an unbalanced line there, but I think more than anything, they were just trying to get Lawndale to jump off side. So nice job, a nice show of discipline there by Lawndale. So that moves them back 5 yards on 4th down.
And what that does is that takes them out of a 4th and a very short, which is a whole lot of pressure on your defense, to a situation now where it's 4th and long, because it's a 4th and 8 is what it is. And so they show that they're going to punt. I don't think we've seen them do that tonight. So we'll have to see if they actually carry through with it. Back to receivers, Tyler Young, high snap on the punt. They do get it away, though. Takes a bounce, you got to get away from it. And they do, and it finally goes dead.
Coaching staff telling Tyler Young there, make the fair catch.
Right.
He just got out of the way with it, and it took a Centennial bounce all the way down. It looks like inside the 20-yard line, if I'm not mistaken.
From this angle,
it looks like they're at about the 15. And if he'd have made the fair catch, they would have been up around the 30-yard line. So lose some yards there by letting that ball roll. And now you got to strike quickly here. Time not on your side. 4:41 left in this one. In a 2, maybe even 3 possession ball game. Down by 15. They tried a little reverse to Lambert.
Lambert's showing some pretty good moves. He has a lot of energy. Watkins haven't done most of the work tonight, but they give Ingerson Lambert a carry. Lambert's a junior, so he'll be back next year. This was a senior-dominated team, Rashawn, so they've got some rebuilding to do. They've got to find some guys. They got a lot of holes to fill, but they got a couple of things that they're going to feel real optimistic about, one of which is the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a young quarterback to build around. That's what you want if you're coming into a new program, as Coach Mathieson is. He has a freshman and Chris Murray. As they throw it on the outside to Young. Young tries to cut it back in, and let's see if he gets enough for a first down. He does. He needed 1. He got about 2 there, did Young.
So the clock stops on the first down. And that's what Chapman, as a senior, does for you. The experience, the calmness, the poise under pressure. All those are things that Chris Murray will learn over time, and he'll learn with playing experience.
Absolutely. Remember, the kid just turned 14 in October. So definitely young. But high hopes for him as they give it to Young, and Young is going to get stopped for a loss. Remember, he was he would have been the starter at the beginning of the season if he were old enough. Remember, he wasn't
Right.
old enough. He was only 13 years old, and CIF rules prohibit a player from playing varsity until they're 14. So he was unable to play until October, and now he's getting some reps here at the varsity level. Played on the lower levels all season long, but he would have been the guy. So they definitely have high hopes for him.
Well, there'll be spring league and summer passing league. Right now, they're getting ready to go into the off season in about 2 minutes and 35 seconds for both teams, actually. So, you know, for the many seniors, this is it. There's Watkins. Watkins trying to get turned around the corner. Wow.
Late hit there. That's going to be a 15-yarder. You don't like to see that at all. I mean, that play was over, and I didn't see who it was, but came in and got a shot against Watkins. And we'll see if we can see it here on the replay. You look at Watkins trying to turn the corner, and he gets out of bounds, and then coming over and Mason a big hit
24.
on him. Yeah, that's 24. That's Jordan Timms. You don't want to see that if you're Coach Shaw.
And, of course, one of the things that they can't do is that they can't ask us if they can look at it on the monitor to be able to see who it was, because you're getting close to a situation, Rashawn, where you want to maintain. You got 2:23 left. You got one team that's dispirited and another team that is now overly exuberant, and that mixture can lead to some problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. You talk about hits, injuries, definitely be a bad mix. Even fights. You don't want to see anything like that to break out. They go with the draw once again to Watkins up the middle.
Nice game by Watkins. He takes it out near the midfield stripe. They don't give him the forward progress. I thought actually he had leaned forward enough. Now Lawndale's going to burn a timeout here. They've got a second and long, 2:10 left. A lot of things have got to happen in order for them to turn this around in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. But as you mentioned, the first thing you got to do is score.
Yeah, you got to score. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. You got to score. Not only do you have to do that, you got to do it quickly. Time not on your side here. And they've been content to run the ball, to keep the ball on the ground, which is not necessarily a recipe if you're trying to score it quickly. But, I mean, credit this Centennial defense. They've made it hard for Lawndale to get anything done in the passing game because of the pressure they've been able to get. And a lot of that pressure has been from their front four.
A lot of it has been. Lawndale, though, win, lose, or draw, would like to put a nice little cap on this as they are now moving from west to east toward the last remnants of what was a full moon for the past week or so, staring right at them, in addition to the end zone down on the eastern end of the field. Chapman drops back to pass, evades the pursuit, now gets it away. Bam. Big hit put on the receiver for the Cardinals. Man, that was English and Lambert with the reception, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was Lambert, and he paid for it.
Right. Let's watch the replay here. You're going to see, you see Lambert get it, and then when he turns around, you got Reed
came in there
number 4,
and finished him
who
off.
scored a couple touchdowns along with Fisher.
Yeah, Reed definitely came in there and finished him off. Low snap. Give it to Watkins once more. He's going to get stopped for a loss.
So it's going to be a second down. Yeah, you're right. They're going to back him up about a half a yard. They'll officially mark it as a whole yard, so we'll call it 2nd and 11.
And we're approaching a minute here.
Ball.
Time just going to tick away in this one.
Lawndale still hopeful of one more moment of excitement in this 2012 season as we wind down the last 40 seconds of it. Chapman drops back to pass, lays it up for Deion Evans. No flags on the play again.
No, I thought that was pass interference.
Okay. But the guys over on the side, they didn't see it the way you and I saw it, so.
They're ready to go. Does that happen? You're a ref. Give us some insight here. Does that happen?
I don't know that it happens overtly, but let's just say, no, there are games, though, seriously speaking, and especially not a game like this, though. I mean, this one you play all the way out, although there's a point at which everybody kind of acknowledges the inevitable, and the sooner it's over, the better it is, particularly for the athletes, because you don't want to see anybody get hurt in a meaningless circumstance. Just like that, there's a late penalty. This one's going to come back. So you see the referee's not even looking, because he knows the play is coming back. He turned his back to the play because it's like no matter what happens, it's a penalty against you guys, against Centennial, for a blow to the quarterback. And so it's going to be a 15-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
Chapman was shaking up on that play before we went to him there. He got his helmet off and was kind of feeling his chin, so to speak, and he blurted out a loud yell. A little roughing the passer is the call there. So that one's going to come back, but Chapman upset. He's tough, though. He's going to stay in there. Take a look at this shot he takes. As you look at him, he tries a little toss, little shovel pass, and look at the late hit there. And that's a helmet blow there. He got hit right in the mouth.
Right. And see, the reason it was so easy to call, because the ball had been released. That's the point at every level, as you well know. You got to pull up. I mean, that wasn't to use a basketball term, a continuation play, if you will.
And even if it was helmet to helmet.
Right.
I hate to see that, but that's just what you talked about, how being a bad mixture.
Right.
You got spirit on one side, a little disenchanted on the other.
Let's see what happens the rest of the way. There's another pursuit. Chapman has it. Boy, you got to pull it down. You got to put it up. And he doesn't. Can't find any open receivers.
Coach Mathieson takes the timeout.
Yeah. He looks at it. He goes, what the heck? We got it. We may as well use it. May as well go ahead and give our guys one more opportunity for success. Let's see what. Well, the whole team is coming over. Now, I mean, I like this timeout call, Rashawn, if you ask me. I like the fact that he makes a decision. You know what? We're going to give him one more chance at success, to taste something sweet, to take away something positive from this season, from your career, from your experience, all right, as a Lawndale Cardinal. And the other thing, fans, one more time to mention as we wrap up here, we told you during the pregame show about the unfortunate loss our friend Lou Stowers suffered with the passing of his wife this week, Diane Stowers, who was a part of the CityTV family. And again, as I've said, our prayers and our thoughts go out to Lou and his family in this very difficult moment for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Lou, obviously one of our esteemed colleagues and teammates here at Channel 22. And it's definitely a tough loss. And, we've been hearing the updates and hearing about Diane's health for, the last few years now. And he's battled through it with her like a champ. And unfortunately, she lost her battle this week.
And that siren signals the end of this contest. Our final, Centennial 27, Lawndale 12. It was a tale of two halves, Rashawn.
Absolutely.
First half owned and dominated by Lawndale, where they forced 4 turnovers, but only cashed in with 12 points. A second half owned and dominated by Centennial. They forced some turnovers, had some great offensive plays. They put 27 up on the board, and with that, That's our final. We see Jose Bravo trying to run out of the stadium because he don't want to hear nothing from me talking about them Cowboys. See, but that don't mean nothing. Come 11-22. Look at him run. I wish we had a camera shot of that, fans. What a way to end the season with Jose Bravo sneaking out of here because he doesn't want to hear about his Dallas Cowboys. But anyway, enough of that. That's another member of the CityTV family. And of course, by now, I'm sure fans, you know all of them, starting with Tom Strickfaden, Francisco, and Eric Chavez. Haven't seen Eric around tonight, and the rest of the crew. There's Eric over there on field camera, Jeff Lim over on the other side. Just everybody. You know, it's been a pleasure. We're wrapping up.
There's Jose.
There he is right there. I love that shot. I love that. Thanks.
There's Jose.
That was a Dallas Cowboy fan, y'all. That's how they going to be leaving on Thanksgiving Day, you know, after the Redskins get done with them. But that's another story. Let's come back to here right now, Rashawn. Let's talk about this for a moment and where, from a football perspective, you know, Lawndale goes from here. And let's just kind of, since we're wrapping up, and if the truck will give us a moment, talk about all three of our schools, Lawndale, Hawthorne, Lusinger, all three that have had tough seasons. And now for all of them, the only thing that's left is next year.
Yeah, all that's left is next year. You see each program, and you want to say they made positive strides. You know, the new coach here, and also at Lusinger with Coach Jenkins taking over in his first season. Obviously, it's a tough first season for him as well. Coach Swain back for his fourth tour of duty over at Hawthorne. And so not the type of season that Hawthorne would have wanted with the momentum.
But it went better than his third tour of duty.
It absolutely did. It absolutely went better than his third tour of duty. But you know, Coach Kanak was kind of doing some good things. He moves on to, I believe it was Alhambra he was. He ended up getting fired from that job in the middle of the season.
Wow.
Yeah, they ended up letting him go. Unclear or uncertain why and what the result of it was, but a weird season in high school football that way, with a lot of coaches getting axed and coordinators getting axed during the season.
Beach Poly losing 56 to nothing.
to Narbonne, a big loss for them early in the year. So a very, very strange year as far as high school football is concerned. We wrap up the regular season here tonight. But if you're Coach Mathieson, no rest for the weary, right? He says he's going to give these guys about a week off.
Right.
And while everybody's still continuing this season in terms of the teams that made the playoffs, these guys are going to be back in the weight room. They're going to be doing some conditioning. They're going to be doing some stuff, getting ready for next year. He's kind of weeded out all the seniors that were used to, you know, doing things a certain way, and now he's going to start incorporating more and more of his system and start building with some of these younger guys that he mentioned, some of these freshmen that he mentioned who want to do it, you know, who he wants to do it his way. So that's going to be the plan here for Coach going forward.
And one of the people that he missed, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention his name, we mentioned him earlier during the season, that was William Self, whom I think would have been a huge contributor to this football team had he been available to them through the season. But he was out the whole season with the injury, with the ACL injury. So he's also in rehab. He's a junior, though. Somebody can look forward to coming back next year, being on both sides of the ball defensively and in that running back spot for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think losing Self was a big blow. And also Tim Jones, the last couple of games, he's been out as well. Another big back to kind of grind out some yards with and kind of wear down the defense a little bit. And Jones is a tough kid. And unfortunately for him, had to miss the last few games. He was out on the field tonight, honored on senior night, but had to miss a few games. Self, he'll be back. He'll be back. Next year, he's going to rehab. He may be able to do some light work during the spring when they hit the field for spring drills. Coach said he'll probably be a month behind from a conditioning aspect. But, you know, once they start spring drills, he may be able to do some stuff. And by the time they enter fall camp, he should be full go. So that's a big piece for them coming back. And also Chris Murray. Talk about valuable reps. There's nothing like game time reps, right?
Exactly.
As a freshman, to get valuable real game reps here as a freshman, during this second half of the season, I think has been huge, and obviously something for him to build on. Yeah, he threw a couple of interceptions tonight, but he's a young kid, a freshman. I mean, you expect him to make some mistakes. He did. He's going to learn from this and grow from this. And Coach Mathieson really, really likes this kid. And when you talked about the way he can throw the ball, he can spin it a little bit, right? He throws a pretty good ball, and Coach Mathieson really likes him. And so obviously excited to see where this young man can lead this Lawndale program. He's going to have the keys for the next 3 years, presumably.
You got it. Well, I tell you what, why don't we do this? Let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back, and in honor of Lou, our friend, we'll put a bow tie on this one. We'll put a bow tie on the football season, but don't worry about it, fans. We're just putting a bow tie on football. We will be starting basketball in just a couple of weeks. So we're going to take a quick break on City TV. We'll be back in a moment with our post-game awards. All right, fans, we're back here on City TV at Lawndale High School, home of the Cardinals, in this final Pioneer League matchup of the season. One that saw the Cardinals come out and dominate the first half, go into the locker room 12-0. Unfortunately, it's not a one-half ball game, Rashawn. It's a two-half ball game, and they forgot that. And so the second half was dominated by Centennial. They put up 27 unanswered points. But there was a bright light tonight for the Lawndale Cardinals, and that bright light was none other than Ryan Alexander, and that's whom Rashawn and I have both agreed is our City TV player of the game for them. He had a hand in both scores. The first one, the interception, the fumble that he recovered that was led to a scoring touchdown, and then the second one, an interception, a 40-yard interception return. Not an interception, but a blocked kick, my bad.
Yeah, he had that interception and the scoop and the score on the block punt at the end of the half.
Okay, so, and he factored in both scores for Lawndale and just played great defense all night. You heard us call his name a couple of times. So, Ryan Alexander, you are the City TV player of the game. Then the other award, considered by some to be perhaps the most prestigious award, certainly in the South Bay, known as a Tip of the Hat Award. Rashawn and I, again, we agree that because it's senior night here at Lawndale High School, and for all these young men whom tonight wraps up their high school career, some will go on to play on Saturdays at different levels, and we wish the best to them. But to each of the seniors at Lawndale High, we say to you, this is the Tip of the Hat Award to you. Best wishes on your future success, and we hope to hear from you down the road. And, of course, in another week or so, in another few weeks, I should say, Rashawn, we flip the script and move on to round ball. So, fans, once again, thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed these telecasts this season. As always, it's a pleasure for the City TV crew to bring them to you. So we're going to say good night on behalf of our football programming. Here's a boat. Here it is, Rashawn. Louis, this is for you. There's the bow tie. Put a bow tie on football season and start licking your chops because it won't be long before we'll be playing round ball. So for everybody here, City TV, we say to you, good night.